Hi guys, thank you for being
Hi,
here.
thank you.
So how about we start? You tell me your names, where do you work at, your position, and what's your background? What college did you go to? If you went to college, what did you major in?
Okay, I'll start because I have the microphone. My name is Paige Jacqueline. I am an employee benefit advisor at KMP Benefits, and I've been working there over 8 years now. But I went to FSU for my undergrad degree. I actually had a psychology degree. And how I ended up in insurance is, kind of an ebb and flow of, figuring out who I am and what I like. And that was, one thing I wanted to emphasize is that it's hard to know exactly what you want to do right when you graduate high school. So just building those life experiences and trying new things to figure out what you like is super important. But I was a psychology major, and then I ended up graduating. And through somebody who I knew who was older than me at FSU, she gave me a referral for a company, and I was working in advertising. I actually worked on the Publix account, which was really fun. And then I was looking to move back home to Bradenton, this area, and this job became available as sort of an account manager role at KMP Benefits, and I decided to try it out to see if I'd like it. And I've been there now over 8 years, so I obviously really liked it, and it's a wonderful career that I feel like can really help you grow and always changing and staying interesting. So, yeah,
That's great, thank you.
turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. My name is Eli Luchuk. I am currently a channel manager for an IT consulting company, Simple Network Consulting. I grew up in Connecticut and I moved to Florida about 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I went to a community college in Connecticut, acquired an associate's degree, and then continued my journey in in Florida.
Yeah.
My original plan was to come down here, finish my 4 year degree, but life has a funny way of throwing challenges at you. And instead of doing that, I found a really good mentor in the tech industry. He's the owner of the company. His name is Chris Pritchard. And he took me on and taught me a bunch of crazy things about tech. And I started doing a self help, exploring kind of educational journey for myself. So my path isn't your standard, right? And a big problem for me growing up was financial concerns. I didn't have the amount of money to go to a 4 year school. Excuse me. So I decided community college was a good route. I didn't know what I was going to do. I went to community college. I had interests in all these other things. I couldn't find a path. So when I came to Florida, that was the goal, was to find my path. And I had an associate's. I was like, what else? What else can I do? So I just started working 2 jobs, working 12 hours a day, studying 4 hours a day on my own. And then ultimately, I found a position with the IT consulting company that my boss founded. I wasn't exactly qualified. And I don't think that, not being qualified should stop you from doing something, but it's the fact that I had a great opportunity and I took it. Um, I'll pause there for now. I feel like I need to collect some of my thoughts if that's okay.
Yep.
If you have any questions, I feel free to ask them too if you're curious.
Sure. Well, what was your associate's degree in?
It was in general sciences, which is quite possibly the most broad you could get a degree in. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. Originally, I had a bunch of business classes doing marketing, accounting, and it just didn't stick. And I was like, I don't necessarily know if I love this. And it's not like I'm paying a bunch of money to go to this school. It was just enough that I could afford. So it was okay that I had general sciences. It allowed me to see a bunch of different classes and potential careers like, chemistry or math or, marketing, just to see all the broadness of what life could have. And it kind of showed to me that I don't really like any of these things too much. Like, I had an entrepreneurial mindset. I liked technology and I liked sales. And it took me 2 or 3 years to figure that out. And luckily I was able to find it here in Florida. But yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of you obviously have had different paths from what you originally were going on. What would you have to say to our students about taking a leap and going for something that they don't know if they might like, or if they're still trying to figure out what they want to do?
That is a good question. And I think I can really relate to that. I had no idea. As soon as I graduated high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. That was also part of the reason, I may have said that earlier, that I went to community college. I would say it's important to kind of try a bunch of things. I mean, if you have your friends, your family friends, your friends, if they can supply you with some of their parents and what they do, I think that's a really good option to get some real world experience and to see what they're doing. Otherwise, there's a great community here, Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, and there's a bunch of resources that you can reach out to, whether it's your school resource officer or something of the sort, to kind of put like a little iScope lens on the other positions and careers that happen locally and nationwide. And then I'm gonna pass it
Yeah.
to you.
I think that was a really great point to what Eli said, is asking other people what they do. And I think something that's been important for me, both personally and career wise, is just asking questions. And you find out so many things by just, asking why or tell me more about that. And that's how I ended up getting my first job, is somebody who was 2 years older than me, who was a friend of mine from college. She, as I was looking to graduate, I was asking around older people, tell me what you do. Do you like your job? Do you like the company? Tell me about the culture there. And my friend Lindsay, who I was talking to, was telling me about her job. It sounded really exciting and she sounded happy with where she was at. So when she told me, hey, we're looking to hire somebody next year, would you be interested? I felt comfortable making that leap. And even though it wasn't exactly what I was looking to do, I decided, you know what, let me try it out. And especially when you're young, it is completely okay to try something out and it not work. It is totally okay, even though it might seem scary, to jump into a career or a job. And if you don't like it, you have so much time and, things ahead of you where you can pivot and make turns and kind of, build your own career path. Because it's not going to be linear. It's going to be a lot of, ups, downs, left, rights. So I think asking questions is something I would really encourage. And, yeah, it's okay if it doesn't work out. There's always something ahead of you, and your path is going to be your own.
That's great. So in the vein of asking questions, um, what exactly is it that your company organization does? So our students can know a little
Yeah,
bit more.
absolutely. So, we are an employee benefit advisory group. So, we work with companies around this area and around Florida who have between 10 to 500 employees that they employ. And we create and manage their employee benefits package. So, when you go to work for a larger company or even, small 10, 20, people company, they oftentimes are going to give benefits. And that's something important too when you're looking at applying for jobs. Make sure you're asking, what kind of employee benefits do you offer? Because that's something that employers really work hard to try to, build and create wonderful packages that are going to attract talent as well as keep good employees happy within their industry. So when you go to work for a company, you might have medical, dental, vision, short-term disability type of benefits, or a 401k where the company is going to match a certain percentage that you put away. So we help build the plans and facilitate them throughout the year. And a big part of my job is working very closely with the company as well as all of the employees. So it's a lot of utilizing interpersonal skills. And, if an employee has a question, they were told that they need to have a surgery coming up. I work with them to say, here's what your insurance company is going to pay. Here's where they're suggesting that you go, and just help them through the process of, navigating how insurance works. So yeah, that was quite a
Nice.
bit,
No,
but
that was good. That was good. I find it funny we have to keep passing the
Yeah.
mic.
We're on a
s-
budget.
that's
Yeah.
it's okay. Simple Network Consulting. We are IT consultancy group. So we help businesses figure out their technology in layman terms, right? People have phones, they have network, Wi-Fi, they have your emails and your data that's stored from those emails and files to make things work. we help businesses kind of organize it and then make it very cost affordable, especially to these small to medium sized businesses. So where I come in and what I do, I am mostly customer facing. I'm not your incredibly techie dude, unfortunately. I do strive to be, but I didn't go to school for it. Everything I've known is self-taught, and it's like the best part and the worst part
Mm.
is that like everything is up to my lens of what I see, and I go to conferences to try and learn more, but when it comes to what I do, it's mostly helping the customer realize what they need and then translating that to our engineers and other vendors that we work with to help that business. It's essentially like a tech middleman. Like you go to someone who knows other people that can provide you really good tech, and because of that relationship, they can help you get a better deal for that stuff. Does that all make sense to you?
Definitely, yeah.
Just between you three, does,
Yeah.
does that work? Okay,
It
cool.
definitely does.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, how do you think your background has helped you in your position right now? What are those transferable skills exactly?
Yeah, I'd say the most important thing for me is communication and learning how to communicate effectively. And this is going to come out of like left field, but there's a book that I really loved reading when I was younger. I was like 21, 22, and it was SOS Help for Emotions.
Okay.
It may seem a little odd. It's really therapeutic, but it really takes a look at like why you have certain emotions and certain feelings off of stressors and how to manage them. And after I read that and kind of also started meditating, which is a whole different deep end on its own, I have a better grasp of how to be a better person, remain more calm and communicate better, which is the whole part of sales is communicating.
I definitely would agree with you. Communication is key. And, a lot of my job is communicating with employees and, companies. And, you know, I think I've always really enjoyed working and helping people. And I feel like a part of this job, I do get to do that. Also, organizational skills. I'm pretty type A. And so this job, I think, fits in well because we have a lot of different groups who are in different processes throughout the year where they're renewing this date or, this date. And just having to keep track of where that company is during a specific month. So, having to be organized and detail oriented is definitely important. And, also, as Eli said, communication. But a lot of my job was hands on training. I feel like, of course, for my job, you have to have a 215 insurance license, which is a prerequisite. But on top of that, I didn't have any formal training of any kind. It was kind of on the job training, which was pretty cool, getting to shadow other employees at our company, seeing what they're doing day to day, and kind of building my responsibilities from there. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of just kind of learning on the go. And that was sort of scary for me to not have anything formal, but it's really helped me in my career of, getting to see specific scenarios. Um, yeah.
That's great. And I was wondering, do you guys have any internship positions available at your jobs? And what would a student have to do to go about applying?
We don't currently have any intern positions available right now, but that's definitely something that would be good to consider. And, we'll definitely bring back to our company. I think, there's a lot of ins and outs of insurance that, we could definitely teach a young person if they're interested. So if anybody is interested, I'd be happy to take that conversation and, help them out offline.
I completely agree with the last segment. Same for us at Simple Network Consulting. We're not taking in any internships, but myself personally would be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns from someone going through what I went through or trying to figure out whether tech is going to be something they want to invest themselves in. I didn't really speak upon this earlier, but if you want to be really successful in technology, you do ultimately have to know a bunch of things. And
Mm.
usually that requires schooling. I am just in the midst of continuing my schooling even as I'm growing with this company. So there's always things you have to do beforehand, but you shouldn't stop just because there's a lot in front of you. It's one step at a time. But yeah, send me any questions you like.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. I think I think that's good. Did I leave anything out? Okay, awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank
My
you, Sheila.
God.